Hi, this is Quinn, and welcome back to Quintech. Well, this is my Sega Saturn video, part 5, volume 1. I split it into two parts because it ran on a little bit long, and the first part is cleaning. I'm doing a cleaning video of my Sega Saturn because when I started out my first video, I talked about my Amiga 2000, and then I think it was either the second or third video, before I even switched it on to see if it was working or tried it out, I did this whole cleaning video. And then when I got it all put back together, it didn't work. So I decided from then on I was going to make sure the system worked before I bothered and took all that time to do that cleaning. So in this video, I take the lid off. I put the lid and the little housing for the CD lens little part and soak them in the sink and scrub them down really good, then wipe them down. And then I take a cloth and, not a cloth, I take a cloth and dry them, and then I let them air dry also after that, but I mostly dried off most of the moisture. And then I go to the actual console and I use Rain-X glass cleaner and a paper towel, and I just spray. I don't spray directly on the console, I spray on the paper towel and just get it slightly moist just to wipe any remaining dust. And then I clean around the outside, and then I flip it over to clean the bottom. And then at the end of this volume, cliffhanger, one of the wires to my mod chip came loose. So you'll find out in volume 2 how that turns out. But this is volume 1, and thanks for coming along. I hope you like this. I appreciate you for joining me. Thanks for liking my channel and even sitting through something like this. I know most of the bigger channels, if they're doing a cleaning, they'll just like cut it all down, make it like a quick, like fast forward, high speed montage, not high speed, the fast forward montage, you know what I mean, and just skip to the next thing because they want to talk about the console and all the specs and this and that and the other. My videos are more about my reminiscence and just enjoying what I'm doing and bringing you along on my journey. So I hope you enjoy this next journey, and without further ado, let's move along with my latest video. Take care. I don't know why, but I've always been kind of a Sega fanboy. I was never a Nintendo hater, I just never had a Nintendo system when I was a kid. And the first console I ever, well, the first console I ever owned, my sister and I, my grandfather bought us the original Atari, well, it was the Sears Atari video game machine or whatever it was called, but it's basically the Atari 2600. But when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I bought my first console, which was the Sega Genesis. And so I never had a Nintendo, I never had an NES, I never had a I never had a Super Nintendo, or for that matter, any Nintendo. I didn't have a a Nintendo 64. I didn't have a Game Boy. I didn't have a Game Boy Color. I didn't have a Game Boy Advance. I didn't have a Nintendo DS. I didn't have a GameCube, a Wii. And you name it. If it's made by Nintendo, I never owned it. But I'm not a hater. I don't hate on Nintendo, but I am more of a Sega guy. So I was a little, I guess, sad, not upset, but I was a little sad when the Dreamcast was their last system and they kind of petered out and they were no longer a console, they were no longer a hardware maker. They may still make arcade machines, I don't know, I haven't followed that closely, but they definitely don't make consoles anymore. And they kind of, a lot of people say they tip their hat to the Xbox One, not the Xbox One, they named things, but the original Xbox, they kind of say was the spiritual sequel to the Dreamcast because Sega started producing a lot of software for that system, and now they make software for a whole bunch of other systems, but for a little bit there they were exclusive on the Microsoft Xbox, the original Xbox, but now they make games for whatever system they can, because I don't blame them, because they're a software company, they're not a hardware company, so make it for whatever you can make it for. But anyway, in this video I'm talking about my Sega Saturn again, and as you can see, it's very grimy. So I think I'm going to clean this sucker up. I'm probably going to have to use some scrub brushes for these little lines and put this in the sink because, as you can see, there's a couple of screws there. There's some screws, but I'm not worried about rusting as long as it dries out real quick. And then that's the inside of the console. And like I showed in an earlier video, this comes off and has a lot of dust on it. It needs cleaning off. Well, the rest of this stuff is also very dusty. I'm probably just going to have to use a toothbrush and maybe a vacuum and then just wipe it down with some, a lot of people use Windex. I like to use Rain-X window cleaner, and I probably won't spray it directly onto the console. I'll probably just spray it onto the paper towel and then just wipe it. And the lens there, I'll probably use a Q-tip and some isopropyl. Well, I have 91% alcohol, and I won't put a lot of force on it because I don't want to scratch that lens. So that's what this video is about. It's about the Sega Saturn. Since I've gotten the system, I've kind of went a little bit overboard. I downloaded a whole bunch of games because I have this mod chip. I can play burn games on this, so I've kind of gone a little bit overboard. I got every single light gun game that came out for the system, and so I might be playing some of those and showing that off. And and I've gotten a whole bunch of other games. I don't know how to. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of the games that are like the super rare games that cost like $800 if you buy it complete brand new, or not brand new. If you buy the complete package with the original disc and all the manual and the original packaging, they cost like ridiculous amounts of money. But I just downloaded them for free off the internet. So I guess I don't know. I've been a little obsessed, but the thing is, I've I've loved Sega since my youth in the arcade. I remember Shinobi in the arcade. I remember a lot of their arcade games. I grew up playing in arcades. Um, I didn't have a lot of home console systems. Like I say, I had the Atari 2600. I also had the Atari 8-bit computer, which also had some home ports of arcade games, including Donkey Kong and Moon Patrol and a few others. But I never had a home console that I owned myself. The 2600 I just share with my sister. But the Atari, excuse me, the Sega Genesis was the first one I ever bought for myself, and it was mine. And I've been kind of a Sega guy ever since. I upgraded it. I got the Sega CD. Then I got the Sega 32X. And honestly, I think I actually did. Well, I had to sell. I didn't have to. I sold it before I left Charlotte to move to Albuquerque. And then when I moved to Albuquerque, I missed that system so much that I went out and bought a whole other Sega Genesis and built up another collection of cartridges. I think the next system I actually bought was the Sony PlayStation. So I didn't get this immediately, but I did eventually end up getting this when I lived in Albuquerque. And they're doing these closeout sales at Babbage's, and that's how I got a lot of my original games and my peripherals. But I've always been a fan of Sega, and I love my Dreamcast. The Dreamcast, I kind of the controller's a little annoying, and I've had many a blister from that D-pad because it's very sharp. But I've had fun playing it when I got that blister. So yeah, I've been a Sega fan for many years. So like I said, I wasn't going to clean this unless I could get it working, and now it's working. So now it's time to clean it. So that's what this video is about. Alright, I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for coming along. Alright, peace. So this is my sink, and I guess I'm gonna fill it up a little bit. So I can clean up my Sega Saturn. I'm not going to fill it all the way up, but I am going to fill it. I have some I probably don't need this much water to actually clean what I'm cleaning, but anyway, I'm doing some cleaning, so I need some water. So I've got the front base plate of my Sega Saturn. As you can see, it's quite grimy. Let me drop that down in there. And I have the laser lens little... This goes around the laser lens. So, let's do a little cleaning. I don't want to break anything, so I'm going to be kind of as gentle as I can. So I'm going to use the soap and water and scrub. And then I'm just going to use just some water and rinse. So there's the laser lens assembly. Well, not even part of the assembly. The around the assembly little thing. Well, I'm going to use this bigger brush here because this is a brush out the inside. And then I'm going to turn it over, brush out the outside. Because it was quite grimy. Let's brush all these little areas were like so. You could see on the video that it was quite dirty. And this, oh, and now that's open. Let's clean on the inside. Let's just clean it up really good. Can't hurt, right? And then we'll use the smaller brush. Get on these little crevices. Of course, it's just a toothbrush. But you never know how dirty it can be. And so now let's clean that out. And I do have this spray nozzle. Spray nozzle. Let's spray it off. On both sides. Get all that soap off. And turn this off. And let's let it dry off. And we can take a cloth, the microfiber cloth. Let's dry it off a little bit. Let's dry off this piece too. want to break anything. Let it be very gentle as I can. But look, now the white line around here is no longer there because it's all that dust is gone. So it looks so much better. And now I can put it back on the console. This edge was a little dirty. These edges are a little dirty, but when I wipe it off, it looks so much cleaner. Oh, and it's a little moist in there. Let me dry that off. Dry off the inside of this little CD flap or CD lid. So now, look at that. It looks practically brand new. As well as the CD laser lens little whatever that is housing. Okay, now I'm going to clean the actual console. I apologize, it's going to get a little bit loud because I got to turn on this vacuum, but hey, it is what it is. That's what's about to happen. So, here we go. that's done. That's done. Okay, well, I'm going to clean this laser lens just very gently. Wet it with some isopropyl, or with by 91%, and then wipe it off. And then I'm just going to get a paper towel and spray directly on the paper towel so I don't spray onto any electronics. And just wipe this down a little bit. Be careful of this soldering job. This button had a lot of grime on it, so that's probably the dirtiest part on here, because it was exposed. And get this out of the way. So when I clean this, I don't accidentally bump against it. Clean around here. Get this edges. Get a little bit more spray. Just a little squirt. Clean these edges. Down here, just slightly damp. It's not like saturated or anything. Just want to pick up some of this dust. There are a little couple spots in here that have started to rust, but I'm not that worried about it. It'll be fine. And then I guess it couldn't hurt to do the bottom and the sides. Most of the dust was on the top because that's how it sits. It sits and the dust falls down and collects on it. Let's get all four sides. The front's a little bit more grimy than the rest of it because that's where your hand goes to plug in the controllers and whatnot. Maybe a little more spray. And now the bottom. Ooh, I need to be careful. Hold that. Oh! Shit. Thing came loose again. Son of a gun. Well, let's go for round 3 here, or round 2. Wow. That was kind of hairy right at the end. I got a little frustrated. So I decided, well, as I said in the beginning, the opening, um, this video was already starting to get kind of long, and I had a lot of footage. So you're at a cliffhanger, and you don't know if I'm going to get the system working again. I had it working, and now it's not working. So who knows what's going to happen in the next video. But I hope you come back for volume 2 of part 5 of my Sega Saturn videos. So again, I'd like to say thank you for coming along on my journey. I really appreciate you, and thanks for enjoying my content. If you're so inclined, like, subscribe, join my that's what subscribe means. If you're so inclined, like, subscribe, click that little bell icon if you want to be notified to every single video that I put out. And again, thanks for coming, and come on back for volume 2 of part 5 of my Sega Saturn video. And thank you for coming along on this video. Alright, you take care.